Okay, so a quick video tutorial of the 2017 Promaster van. I'm going to do a walk around, show and identify everything and give some information about it, or give you a source where you can find that information. Okay, quick discussion about the engine in the front. This is with the hood open. You can see it in this view here. So just point some things out. This bottle right here with the blue cap, that's a coolant makeup area. It has a min-max on it. Above it right here is the power steering fluid. You can see the levels are good on both. Over here, this yellow cap right there is windshield washer fluid. And then lastly, down inside, you'll see the yellow handle right there. That is the oil dipstick. Also wanted to mention that this vehicle has an additional alternator, and it's located right, let's see if I can point to it, right about in this location. That's the front right, and it's just forward of the wheel and internal to the wheel cavity. Only reason I'm mentioning it is a reason why I never pull up to a parking curb and go all the way snug up against it. I always stop about 10 inches to a foot before a parking curb with the wheels to prevent possibly banging it, because the alternator does sit low with that front skirt. So I always stay away from parking curbs and don't try to ram up on top of them. Wanted to mention that the hood release is kind of hidden. It's from the driver's side. When you open the door, there's a lever just inside here. Hopefully you can see it. This lever, once the door's open, you can pull this lever and the front hood will unlatch. Also wanted to say that the stereo has Bluetooth capability, so if you'd like to link it to your phone, the manual is in the glove box, and it will step you through the sequence to link it to your phone, and then you can play any music wirelessly from your phone over the van's sound system. Okay, on the front dash, passenger side, I want to just point out a couple things. There's a single USB port here for charging phones, as well as two USB ports there. The glove box is right here, and I wanted to mention that there is a wrench in that glove box that fits if you ever have to have a mechanic replace the serpentine belt. There's a special wrench in there that he will know what that's used for. So that was discussion about the lower glove box. A lot of people don't realize, but up top is an additional glove box, and has some storage in there as well. I've got a couple replacement LED headlights, and I think I've thrown the spare key to the van in there as well. Behind the passenger seat on the floor, two items. One is a fire extinguisher, and then this gray box that's up under here is a jack, which will allow you to jack the vehicle. The vehicle does not come with a spare tire. Instead, it comes with a emergency kit, which I will show you here in just a second. This is the emergency kit, and inside of it is a tire inflator. It's a 12-volt operated, so you just plug it into the van and go to the tire that is low on air or out of air, and it's twofold. It will inflate that tire, as well as you can turn a selector valve and it will pump sealant into that tire and seal the tire. So it's kind of a roadside assistance type thing. If you had a severe type tire malfunction, you would just have it towed to a local tire store and have it replaced altogether. This would be to help you if you came out and you had a low tire or something like that and you wanted to air it back up. Okay, quick discussion about the refrigerator. I just want to show you its operation. It has a lock over here on the side, which is just you push down and then you can open the refrigerator. To turn the refrigerator on, you open up the freezer portion and you'll see a dial there. It's zero, which is off, all the way to 5. I find a perfect temperature is right about 3. If you set it to there, it will remain at a good freezing temperature in the freezer and a good temperature for the refrigerator. Okay, a discussion about the control panel. So pretty much everything is controlled from this panel. This top function right here is controlling just the LED lighting in the van, and that's the surround lighting that you see. The top button is on off, and it's just a touch control. You can see me controlling it there. And then the other two buttons below it are dimmers, so you can go weaker and get less. There it goes away, and then you could touch this one, just keep your finger on it, and it'll come all the way up to the top. It's a nice little function there. Next to discuss are the switches. The water heater is right here. I'm gonna give you an example of how it works. So you click, if you want hot water, let's say you're getting ready to take a shower, you're gonna switch it on and you'll see that red light. That red light means it knows it's supposed to be on, but it's not lit yet. As soon as it lights, that red light will pop off and the heater will be on. So we'll give it a second. There it is. So now the heater is burning and heating water. I normally set a timer or something that reminds me that I have the hot water heater on, because as you can see, there's nothing that really tells you that it's on. So I'll run it for about 5 minutes before I take a shower, and right after I get out of the shower, the first thing I do is step over and turn my water heater off, just so I don't leave it on. Okay, the next button over is awning. This van used to have a rollout awning. I did not like it. It was very fragile, and this button here was just had the ability to turn LED lighting on and off that was on it. So it's a disabled switch at this point. Turning this on or off doesn't do anything. Okay, like any other RV, water pump can be switched on. You hear when it's on, the blue light's on, it remains on. Then you can use water at any time. You'll have the water pressure. That switch can be left on for days, weeks, and months. It's not gonna hurt it. The pump will only run, you'll hear it. As soon as you start to flow, you'll hear the pump run in the background. As soon as the pressure comes back up, it stops. Okay, now last switch that's operational is the inverter button. Turning this on turns on the inverter and allows you to have 110 volt operation inside the van. So welcome to Simply Safe. There's the alarm turning on. Off. So this can be left on for days, weeks, months at a time. I've had it on for 2 years, 2.5 years. It's just supplying 110 volt electricity to any of the outlets. For example, the microwave is 110 volts. You can see it's powered on right now. And all the van outlets, there's one down there, and they're located around the van. You'll see those are all hot right now when that inverter switch is on. This last button, battery disconnect, has been disabled. It's part of the legacy original system when this van had like the manufacturer's battery system. Since the van has been upgraded, there's no need to disconnect the battery power. I do have some circuit breakers, and I will show them as we go through this video. Okay, next to the refrigerator, along the floorboard, is this large black panel. This is the circuit breaker for the entire van, and I'm going to pull the cover and kind of give you a rundown of what is what. When you pull the cover, you can see on the back side of the cover everything's labeled as to what it's powering. So the switches that are on the left, they're labeled as the 110 volt sources, as to if you turn one of those breakers off, you'll be turning off that respective one. The one on the right are all 12 volt fuses. Those are the colored ones, and each of those are labeled on this back panel and tells you what it's actually powered. So if you're operating the van and all of a sudden something stopped working, this would be the first place to look. And it would also, you would just pull one of these fuses, take a look at it, and see if it's been tripped or anything like that. Below the circuit panel is a safety sensor. That's this. And it's always monitoring, it's a safety alert system. It's always monitoring the oxygen content of the van, because you have propane source, and propane can deplete the oxygen. So it's super sensitive. I've set it off a million times. There's a reset here. A quick way to accidentally set it off is to have the sliding door open and be idling in a parking lot. If it smells any exhaust gas, it will sound off, which is super convenient because it keeps you from getting poisoned. Like if you were to stop at a rest area or something and some truck was to pull up next to you while you were sleeping and gas you out, this thing would go off instantly. Similarly, on real cold nights when I button everything up, this van is so airtight, sometimes the low-level oxygen sensor will go off, and I'll wake up, hit the reset, crack a window open, or crack the top vent open. So under these seat cushions is a panel. They have screws in it to remove the panel because these are really non-serviceable areas. I mean, you can get to them and look at them, but there's nothing really to do. But I'll just give you a rundown of what's where. Right under this seat here is the inverter and all the wiring. That's why the circuit board's right here. So all the wiring, the main part of the wiring for the vehicle is all combines here to one big inverter unit that turns 12-volt electricity into 110-volt electricity. Next to it is two things, and they're both gas powered. You have this, which is the cabin heater, which is propane powered, and kind of next to it underneath here, which you don't get to see, is the water heater. It's located there. And then lastly, back in this area is just some other mechanical items for the van, but they're not it's not necessarily serviceable items. You can pull the panel, look at them, but that's about it. This side of the van, however, is very accessible, and it shows all the wiring and the batteries that I have. So give me a second and I'll show you what we're looking at. Okay, so you can see I removed the cushions, and it's a hinged panel. I've lifted it up. It's got a little string that holds it up there. Seems to work pretty well for me. So what you're looking at right in here is four batteries. These are very expensive batteries that power this van. This is the power station of the van. They're all wired together. There's really no maintenance items in this area. I will show you a main disconnect if you ever need to disconnect the power. And then lastly, I wanted to say this module that's right here, this is the solar charge controller. It takes the electricity that's coming from the solar panels. They come in through these large wires, that big red one and the big black one that you see, and it converts it to 12 volts and sends it directly from here to the batteries to just continue to charge them. Here's a little better view of that charge controller. You can, for the solar, you can see it there. These gray wires that you see right here coming in, that's coming from the top of the van. So that's raw electricity coming in. If you ever needed to shut off that power that's coming in, right here, let's see, right there is a disconnect, and you can disconnect the power, and there won't be any power coming from those solar panels. Just forward of where the battery compartment is you're seeing the top of the air conditioning unit, at least the evaporator portion of it. Just so you know, it's sealed in there. It does have a filter material, and I'll show you that, where you can replace it or at least check to make sure it's clean. I've got a water hose sitting on top of it that's safe to place up there. In the event that you ever needed to disconnect power to the air conditioner, I do have an electrical disconnect. It is back in this area. It's the only thing that has a yellow little switch. If you push this electric switch, it will disconnect the air conditioner, and the air conditioner will not see any power. So I wanted to give you a better view of that air conditioner. It's easier to access it from the outside of the van. If you come up to this cabinet here and open it up, There you'll see the air conditioner in place, and this green material that's right over here, that's just an air conditioning filter. So you can pull that out, wash it, and put it back. If you can look at it right now, you can see it's not dirty or anything like that, but it's something that you just want to keep an eye on. Everything else is just the power cables that are coming in, and then just the ductwork that comes and supplies it up to the top of this box. This module here is for the alarm. It's up to you if you want to keep it. It's a Simply Safe alarm. I really like it. It's a good, makes me feel comfortable leaving the van in a parking lot. If anyone was to try to get in, it sounds the alarm. It's super loud, and it's definitely a good deterrent. I wanted to give you a quick rundown on how these fans work. I think we talked about it when you visited. They swing down like that and they lock into place, and then you can angle them however you wish. But more importantly, there's two buttons up here. One is a timer and the other is an on, off, / speed. So one click will turn you on a low speed, second click medium speed, third click high speed, top, one more click and it's off. The timer function, you can, if you wanted the fan to only run for 15 or 30 minutes, you can keep pushing this and it will set a timer function. I never use it. I don't see the point. The fans don't pull that much power. I just leave them on. Okay, in the back of the van is a Max Air roof fan. This fan is really amazing, multiple reasons. You can have the fan open and operational in the rain, and it's rainproof. The fan's capable of either blowing into the van or sucking air out of the van. It can operate at 10 different speed levels, which is wonderful. You can operate it down around 20 or 30% and it's just whisper quiet, but it also moves a lot of air. And then lastly, it's also programmable thermostatically. So you can say, you can tell this fan, if it becomes over 80 degrees in this van, I want you to open up and turn on max fan until you get the temperature back down below 80. It's wonderful if you leave an animal in the van, because it will thermostatically open and close necessary to get the heat out of the vehicle. Not sure if I told you this before, but this is the manufacturer's escape for in the event that you needed to get out of the rear of the van very quickly. They've got this lanyard. It's snapped on here. I've never really used it, but I know it does work. You just grab this lanyard and pull, and both doors will actually will open up and allow you to exit the rear of the vehicle. Okay, above the two couches, just wanted to mention a couple things. There's LED lighting up under here. They're single press function, on and off. There's also USB ports for charging, so you can attach your charge cables there and toss your cell phone and any other electronics in these little wooden boxes. Wanted to mention about the alarm that's installed and show you some of the, you may ask, what are these little things that I see around the van? So I'm going to show you as many of them as I can so you'll understand what they are. The main brain to the system is sitting right here. It's just 120 volt. It's a Simply Safe system if you've ever seen it. It's a plug-in, simple alarm system, but it really works well. Around the van, all the doors have magnetic switches on them like this. So wherever you see these white little switches, it's just looking to see if that door is open. As soon as you open the door, it breaks that connection, and then the van knows something's opened that door. Similarly, as a backup, I'll show you a component here. This is a motion detector. It's looking in the center of the van. If someone, let's say, came through the window or something, or was able to get through one of the doors and wasn't detected, and you had the alarm on, that motion detector would catch their movement in this van. It's nice because small animals do not set it off. I used to have a small dog in this van, and he never set it off. Similarly, over here near the microwave is a glass break detector. It's this white one right here. All it is a microphone, and it's listening to hear if someone was to break your window trying to get in. If they broke your window, this alarm will immediately go off, and that would be at least the end of them trying to get your belongings. Down here, you'll see this white sensor that's right here. This one's a really nice function. This is it's a temperature sensor, and what I like about it is I used to have this alarm system set up to give me, it was connected to my internet, and it would notify me. I would set parameters. I'd have my dog in here, and I'd set parameters, and I would told it anything over 85 degrees, send me an alert immediately, and anything below 60 degrees, send me an alert. So I used this sensor and the alarm system to communicate that to me, just so I knew that my dog wasn't sitting in a hot van or the opposite. Here's another door sensor. You can see it right there. When this sliding door is closed, the other part of that sensor mates up with it, so it knows when this door is open and closed. All these components are part of the alarm system. I'm just letting you know, so when you see them, you recognize what they are. Same here. Just here's the two sensors for this door. When you close the door, they mate together, and then the alarm system knows that it's been closed. Okay, quick rundown of the back of the van. I just have the doors open right now. I mentioned before, these are just insulated foam panels. There's frosted glass underneath of them. You can pull them out if you don't want them. You can paint them, or you can wrap fabric around them. I just kind of left them as they were. They would make for a good pin cushion. You could actually stick maps and other things to it with pins. Located next to it, this is the post that the table sits on, and it just stores there. It's clicked into a little receiver there, and you just push it in. And then I stashed a broom back here, so that's how I keep it clean. When you're in the vehicle, you can reach back in that little cubby and grab that broom and sweep it out pretty easily. Okay, quick discussion about the gray water tank. You can see right here. There's the, let's see, where's the camera? Right there is the valve. Let's see if I can, yeah, there's the outfall of the gray water tank, and right here is the handle. It's pulled out right now, so the valve is open, so there's no water in the tank. This big black blob right here is the tank itself. So if you want to not drop water, this valve right here, you just close it, and you'll hold water, and whenever you're ready, you open that valve. Quick operation of the sink. The sink is this big panel right here. If you pull this lever down here, you can pull the sink down. Okay, discussion about the toilet. All right, so let's see. The toilet is vented through this fitting right here, and I'm going to zoom into it. It's just a rubber fitting. This fitting can pull off, and then you can disconnect and pull the whole toilet out. Right next to it is an electrical connection. You can actually hear the fan running. You can pull that. You heard the fan just turn off. If you want to pull the whole toilet out, you'd come around here. There is a thumb wheel right here. You can loosen this up and pull the whole toilet itself out. You would do that when you were just dumping the peat moss. In order to access the urine bottle, it's just two latches on the side. Here's one right here, and then an identical one right over here. When you open those up, the whole thing hinges, and you can pull this bottle out very easily. And then you can see I've got clean peat moss in there now, and that's how it separates. That's how you get this bottle out. Down in here is a cap to that bottle, so if you were going to dump it at a public toilet, you could disconnect this, put the cap on, pull it out with this handle, carry it in, dump it into a toilet, come back out, lift this up, slide it in there. It takes all of about 20 seconds. Okay, and lastly back here is just the tabletop, and it stores in this little pocket right here. I wanted to talk about the freshwater system. The freshwater tank is actually kind of built into the van. It's right behind the driver's seat. There's a large big black plastic cover. You can't see it very well, and into the cabinetry. It's a 20-gallon vertical tank that's inside the cabin. It gets filled from the inside door jamb of the van. So now I'm sitting, this is the driver's side, and I'm gonna pop this door open, and you can see right in this area, you can see a plug, and you pull that plug. It's on the outs kind of jamb of the vehicle, and you can add water to that location. You just run water or a hose, stick a hose in it and run it until it starts back spitting water back out, and then you're full. And then last commodity that I wanted to discuss was the propane, and it's right behind the step, which is located right here, is this panel. This whole panel is hinged. Try to get a view for you. You just lift the whole thing up, and there's your serviceable propane bottle. It has a fill port, that's the yellow cap, and then it has a valve that allows you to isolate it or turn it on or turn it off. Go to any most convenience stores that sell anything that sells propane, and they'll be able to fill this up for you. I think we discussed this before, but I'll just run through it real quick on the window operations. Every window has a safety clasp and an opener, so it can open half the capacity of the window, which is really nice to let a breeze through. If there's bugs out, you can slide this screen unit right across like this, and then it's a screen mesh material so bugs can't come in. If it's at nighttime and you want privacy, then you just grab from the other side, and this is a blackout panel that gives you 100% privacy in the van. I mentioned earlier that the van has propane gas heat. This is the thermostat for that. It has two switches on it. It has a switch below, and that one controls the thermostat, how hot you want it to be. To the right is hotter, to the left is cooler, and then it has a switch up top. It just clicks back and forth, so that's on and off. Right now it's in the off position. Take it to the left, it'll be in the on position. So let's just turn it on. You'll hear the fan blow, and in a couple seconds you'll hear the igniter start to ignite the gas. Takes a second. I think it's already, let's see. Yep, there it goes. Just ignited. So now it's operating. You can actually, yep, I can feel the heat blowing out of it now. And now you could go back to the thermostat, and you would control that temperature where you'd want it to, how much heat you want it to run and shut off at. Just wanted to add one more thing about the heater. I have it running right now, is when you go to turn the heater completely off, don't be surprised that the fan doesn't click off. It has a safety feature that will, so I'm going to turn the heater off. It turned the gas off, but the fan will stay on for about 3 or 4 minutes just to cool down that coil until it's comfortable, and then the fan will shut off and will not turn back on. One thing I didn't discuss when we were looking at the control panel is this Victron, and this is really the heart of the battery system. It is continuously displaying what the state of charge of your battery system is, right? And so it gives you a good idea, you know, do you need to start the motor and charge the batteries, or, you know, it just gives you an idea how much, just like a cell phone, how much battery do you have left type thing. You'll get a feel for it as you use the van, what charges it up very quickly. This unit here has the capability to Bluetooth to your phone, and you can see the same information on your phone. You can actually see a lot of different things. You can see how much electricity you're using at the current moment, how much you're charging in the batteries. It's kind of a geek type thing. The reality of it is you just need to look at these numbers and say, okay, well, I got 99.7 state of charge. I'm fully charged. And I'm sitting at that because I'm just sitting with, it's collecting solar right now. Even though I'm running lights and things like that, it's still a positive rate of charge. So that's the summary of the walk around tutorial manual. Lastly, if I failed to miss something or you have a question about something, I'm just going to leave you my cell number. You can always call me anytime and I'll explain what's going on or give you any information that I have. My cell number is 321-403-9937.